At the beginning of this project, I set out to find a new purpose for a surfboard that was damaged and otherwise headed for the trash. It's been cut and formed into a High Elven shield inspired by the Lord of the Rings, but it still needs a handle and all of the painted details. The back detailing is inspired by the on-set version of the shield, so these paint stir sticks will become the edge bracing for the lower portion of the shield. The resin surface has been keyed using a coarse sandpaper to ensure a good bond with the wood glue, and then the pieces are clamped in place for several hours until the glue has fully set. The handle will be created from PVC pipe, so it's laid across the shield and then roughly cut to size. Each end of the PVC pipe is heated and pressed flat so that it will fit flush against the shield. And then it's also trimmed into the shape of a leaf and sanded smooth. I've modeled and 3D printed the center supports, so these get clamped into place and the positioning checked with the PVC handle. And then gluing the handle to the supports. And this will get reinforced later, but for now I just need to ensure that the positioning is correct for everything. So I've let that cure, and now I've removed all of the clamps, and these parts are now pretty securely attached to the PVC pipe, but I'm going to further reinforce that with some screws. I did later add some washers under the screws so that the pressure would be spread out over a wider surface area against the plastic parts. To attach the handle to the shield, I'm drilling holes through the PVC and through the shield itself, ensuring that the placement of the screw is going to align with the pattern on the front of the shield. I used a combination of glue and screws to ensure that the fastening point would be secure. I also applied glue to the undersides of the bracket fastenings before placing the handle. With the glue fully cured, the handle is now nice and secure. The entire shield, front and back, gets a base coat of paint that bonds to plastic. On top of that initial base coat, I've added a layer of leafy green paint that's going to provide a good base color for the rest of the layers that will be added on top. And I have my small version of the shield just for reference, where I was testing the materials and the paints, but I have decided to go in somewhat of a different direction for the large version. Over that base green, I'm layering some very light washes of watered down acrylic paint in green and yellow. Next, I'm clarifying the details by darkening the edges of the raised pattern. Now that I have all of the values established, I can go ahead and start adding in the metallic coats over top. I'm using a mix of bronze and gold to start building up those metallic layers. Keeping it nice and thin over most of the shield so that the green colors do show through. And then I'm also just darkening it a little bit more in between the raised patterns to ensure that that pattern is well established. At this point, I have added a coat of sealer so that all of these layers are locked in and won't be damaged by the additional washes that I'm going to apply over top. Once this coat of sealer had dried, I further built up the layers of metallic paints and added an additional 2 coats of gloss sealer. Once again, with the sealer thoroughly dry, I'm adding some oil paints over top, so I'm using green and yellow ochre and buffing this over the whole surface of the shield. I'm also darkening the edges of the recessed areas using burnt sienna and black to give it a more aged and weathered look. To attach the final piece, I've prepped the surface using sandpaper, applied glue, and then weathered the piece in place so that it matches the rest of the finish on the shield. With that, the transformation is complete. The surfboard has been completely reimagined. It's been reinforced with carbon fiber and glass fiber, layered with epoxy and cured under vacuum. The PVC handle and the 3D printed brackets provide the look of the onset style shield. The translucent layers of weathered metallics and natural undertones would look right at home in Middle-earth.